Back in the late 90s, all you had to do was slap .com at the end of your company name, and suddenly, boom, you were worth millions. Didn't matter if you had a business plan or even a working product. Fast forward to right now, and it feels like deja vu. Only this time, replace .com with AI. Startups are raising insane amounts of money just because they say the word AI. Some people swear this is the next internet. Others think it's the next bubble about to burst. So, which one is it? Alright, so why do people even think artificial intelligence could be a bubble? Let's start with the money, because that's where the story always gets interesting. Nvidia, the company making the chips that power almost every big AI model, hit a $3 trillion valuation this year. $3 trillion. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than Amazon, bigger than Google. And this is a company that not too long ago was mostly known for making graphics cards, so you could play Fortnite at 120 frames per second. Now, they're treated like the beating heart of the AI revolution. And then you've got the startups. This is where it starts to feel like deja vu. Back in the late 90s, you could add .com to your company name, and boom, millions in funding would magically appear, even if you didn't have a product. Today, the trick is swapping in AI-powered. Say that in a pitch, and investors start acting like kids at a candy store. Take Anthropic, for example. They've raised over $7 billion in the last couple of years. $7 billion, with a B, and they're not alone. Some of these companies don't have profits. Some don't even have clear business models. It's pure, raw hype. And honestly, it feels a lot like handing someone a blank check just because they promised to invent teleportation. Now add the media into the mix. Every headline sounds like it was written by a hype man at a boxing match. AI will change the world. AI is smarter than you. AI is the new electricity. You can't scroll your feed for 5 minutes without tripping over another one. It's everywhere, and it's constant, and it's not just headlines. Look around your own apps. Spotify, Canva, Zoom, even your bank app. Everyone's suddenly rolling out an AI assistant. Half the time, it doesn't make the product better, but hey, it lets them say they're riding the AI wave. It's like slapping a neon sticker on something boring and hoping people notice. So when you put it all together, trillion-dollar valuations, startups drowning in money without profits, media hype louder than a marching band, and every company suddenly trying to sell you on their AI feature, it all starts to give off that familiar bubble smell, the kind of smell we've seen before, right before things pop. Here's the thing, this whole "is AI a bubble" debate isn't brand new. We've seen this movie play out before, just with different costumes. Take the dot-com bubble in the late 90s. When the bubble popped, billions vanished overnight. But here's the kicker. Out of that wreckage came giants like Amazon and Google. So yeah, the hype train crashed, but the tracks it left behind changed the world. Fast forward a few years. Remember the housing bubble in 2008? Banks were handing out loans like candy. People were flipping houses like they were Pokemon cards. And everyone thought prices would only go up. Spoiler, they didn't. The crash wrecked the economy, but it also reshaped how we regulate banks and lending. And then there's crypto. Man, crypto was like watching the dot-com bubble on fast forward. Bitcoin soared. Thousands of coins popped up overnight. And then came NFTs. People dropping millions on pixelated monkeys and rocks. Some folks made fortunes, but most were left holding the bag. Today, most of those projects are worth less than a Taco Bell receipt. But blockchain, still around, still being built on. So what's the pattern? Hype, overinvestment, crash, survivors rebuild stronger. It's like watching a forest fire. Everything looks like it's burning down, but in the ashes, the strongest trees, the real ones, grow back even bigger. That's why people look at AI and go, wait a second, haven't we seen this before? The hype feels familiar. The money feels familiar. And history tells us, when things start looking too good to be true, there's usually a pop somewhere down the line. So let's talk red flags. What makes people say, yep, this looks like a bubble? Number one, insane valuations. We already talked about Nvidia, but it's not just them. Some AI startups are being valued higher than long-standing companies that actually make money. It's like paying Ferrari prices for a car that hasn't even left the garage yet. Number two, too many clones. Everywhere you look, There's another AI for X startup, AI for resumes, AI for dog training, AI for planning your grandma's birthday party. When every other week, a new company pops up doing basically the same thing with a slightly different interface, that's usually a sign the gold rush is on. Number 3, business models that don't add up. Some of these companies are burning through cash faster than a kid with birthday money at an arcade. Sure, they've got flashy demos, but when you ask, okay, but how do you actually make money? The answers get pretty fuzzy. And finally, the hype to reality gap. Investors and headlines are treating AI like it's already human-level smart, but in reality, it still spits out wrong answers, makes stuff up, and needs insane amounts of computing power. There's a difference between this is impressive and this will rewrite society tomorrow. So when you pile all that together, sky-high valuations, a flood of copycats, shaky business plans, and tech that's still rough around the edges, it's no wonder people smell bubble. But here's the twist. Just because it looks like a bubble doesn't mean the tech itself is going away. And that's where things get interesting. Artificial intelligence might not be a bubble at all, not in the way people think. Think about it. Your kid's teacher is already using it to whip up lesson plans. She's not staying up until midnight, coffee in hand, flipping through old worksheets anymore. She types a few prompts and boom, she's got something to work with. That's not hype, that's Tuesday night. Or picture this, you wake up, check your bank app, and there's a notification, suspicious charge blocked. You didn't do anything. That's AI quietly working in the background, watching your back while you slept. And it's not just in serious places. Coders use it to skip the boring stuff. Instead of writing the same 50 lines of code they've written 100 times before, they let AI handle it so they can move on to the fun puzzle. Doctors use it like an extra set of eyes, scanning x-rays and spotting things a human might miss. Even customer service feels less painful when AI takes care of the reset my password questions, leaving people free to help with the real problems. This is where it's different from bubbles we've seen before. NFTs, that was your neighbor bragging about spending a month's rent on a picture of a monkey. AI, that's your neighbor's kid actually using it to study for math class. And here's the part that feels bigger. Artificial intelligence is becoming invisible. It's sliding into the wiring of everything. Remember when the cloud sounded like a weird magic trick? Now it's just normal. Netflix, your photos, your files, it all lives there, and you don't even think about it. AI is on that same path. Pretty soon, it won't feel like some shiny add-on. It'll just be the thing quietly powering the apps you use without you noticing. And people like it. Students use it to get unstuck on homework. Writers use it to brainstorm when their brain's fried. Artists use it to try out weird ideas they'd never have time to sketch by hand. When a tool makes life easier, faster, and a little more fun, it doesn't just vanish because investors got carried away. The money side, sure, some of these startups are going to crash hard, but the tech itself is already so woven into daily life that even if the bubble pops, AI isn't going anywhere. The truth usually sits somewhere in the middle, and with AI, that's probably the case too. Some of these valuations are nuts. Startups with barely a product are being treated like they're the next Google. That money side, that's where the bubble talk makes sense. A lot of those companies will crash, just like thousands of dotcoms did in the early 2000s. But the tech itself, that's not a bubble. That's the part that sticks. Think about railroads back in the 1800s. Investors went crazy, laying down tracks everywhere, and half the companies went bankrupt. But railroads didn't vanish. They ended up reshaping entire countries. Same with the internet after the dot-com bust. Pets.com died, but Amazon didn't. AI is walking that same road. The hype and the money will get messy, no doubt about it. But once the dust settles, the companies that actually solve real problems will survive, and they'll be stronger for it. And here's the thing. People forget. Bubbles aren't always bad. They're messy, sure, but they also pour fuel on the fire. They pump in way more money and attention than the tech could have gotten on its own. A lot of that money will get wasted, but some of it builds the foundation for the next wave. So yeah, maybe investors are drinking the Kool-Aid. Maybe some startups are just along for the ride. But the core technology, it's not going away. It's going to sink deeper into daily life, whether the market is overhyped or not. Let's zoom in on some real stories. So this doesn't just sound like theory. Take Jasper AI, one of the first big AI writing tools. At one point, it was riding high on the ChatGPT wave, raising over $100 million and hitting a unicorn valuation. But then OpenAI released GPT-4, and suddenly Jasper's moat looked more like a puddle. Growth slowed, hype cooled, and now they're scrambling to reinvent themselves. That's bubble behavior in real time. On the other side, look at Runway ML. While everyone was obsessing over chatbots, these guys doubled down on AI video tools. They've quietly become a backbone for creative industries, powering those viral AI video clips you see on social media. They might not be worth billions like OpenAI, but they're carving out a space that looks a lot more durable. Then there's Cerebrus Systems. Instead of chasing consumer hype, they built one of the biggest AI chips in the world, literally the size of a dinner plate. It sounded crazy at first, like a science fair project gone too far. But now they're landing government contracts and powering serious research labs. That's not a bubble pop. That's the kind of infrastructure play that survives the storm. And we can't forget the quick flops. Remember AI Dungeon? It blew up as a text adventure game powered by GPT. So, what happens next? In the short term, expect a correction. Some of these companies raising billions with no business plan, they're going to flame out. Investors are going to get burned. Stocks will take a hit, and headlines will scream the AI bubble has burst. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. But long term, AI isn't going anywhere. It's already too baked into our daily lives to just vanish. The way we bank, the way we shop, the way we learn, even the way we make music or movies, AI is sliding into all of it. Over time, it'll stop feeling like this shiny, futuristic toy and start feeling like plumbing, invisible, boring, but essential. 10 years from now, people might not even say AI out loud anymore. It'll just be part of how the world runs. The same way nobody brags about using the internet anymore. It's just assumed. So yeah, some of the money might be a bubble, but the technology, that's the foundation for the next era. So is AI in a bubble? Honestly, yeah, probably, at least the money side of it. Some companies are overvalued, some apps are riding the hype wave, and a lot of them won't make it. But at the same time, no, because the tech itself is real, it's useful, and it's not going away. Just like the internet after the dotcom crash, AI will outlive the hype. Which brings us back to the real question. When the dust settles, which companies, tools, and ideas are still standing? What do you think? Are we in the middle of a bubble, or are we just watching the birth of something that will stick around forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what side you're on. And hey, if you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this with someone who won't stop talking about AI at dinner. Let's see if they still think it's all hype.